So I was just here thinking to myself, like, what were the things that really made my beats progress and sound more professional, full, complete? You know, what were the things that really were the turning point in my production? I was thinking about that. You know, there are many things throughout the production, my years of production, that made me become better at what I do. But I have four things that are really, I believe, that are the things that made me become a better producer. So I'll try to be quick, man. I can stay here the whole day talking about this, but I'll try to put this down in 10 minutes. First thing is like drums. Picking the right drums. Before, I would use a bunch of different type of drums that would come in softwares. I was just trying out things, but once I trained my ear to a specific type of kick and a specific type of hi-hat and snare, then my game really changed. But that alone isn't enough. One of the most important things within drums is velocity changes and swing, shifting notes. That's really one of the turning points in my production, is when I realized that, hey, if I change the velocity for my hi-hats and if I change the velocity for my kicks, I start to get this pumping effect on the drums. Like everything starts to go up and down, and I have a shifting of notes as well. That's where everything starts to get a bit more groove, and that really turned the page on my beats. I'm also going to say this, I'm going to get a bit of hate, but hear me out. I use unquantized recording a lot of the times, but to me, recording unquantized is overrated. I know, like, I'm going to get a lot of hate. You can comment down below. I know a lot of people love to record unquantized. I really prefer to record quantized and then shifting notes around to fit my drums better. I mean, that really was a turning point for my production. But then we come into mixing. Even though I had the best sounding kicks that I thought are the best kicks and snares and whatever, mixing them was a huge problem for me, and it took me a really, really long time to understand that I had my drums way too high. I was always in this mindset that, hip hop, you gotta have your drums knocking, and meaning punchy doesn't mean on a huge level. It doesn't mean that you need to increase the volume. That's not what it is. And once I realized that, I had to lower my volumes, it really changed it for me. I started hearing everything in a different way, and my drums started working a lot better with my samples. I used to mix at a high volume all the time. That excites the ear. You can't really pick out what's too high or too low in a mix if you're mixing in a high volume. If you lower the volume, then you'll notice that some of the sounds you can't really hear because maybe the drums are too high. Once I started mixing at a lower volume, I started to put everything on the right place. I don't think that there's really a place where the volume should be. It's all about your preference, but I think mixing is an art, and you should mix and put the volumes where you feel. Once I kind of started mastering that swing and volume, then you kind of are left with samples. And I struggled with samples a lot because I experimented with a ton of different samples. Sampling everything, whatever, man. I used to sample off of the television, TV ads. Sample from any source. Even though experimenting is good, it can also hurt the production. I've mentioned this in the past because you're always trying different things and you're not focusing on things that work, okay? What would happen is that I would make a beat that was really sounding really good, and then the next instrumental, I was trying something different. Once I started, and this went on for years, like I would make a beat that I would really enjoy, and then I would make the second one, it wouldn't sound like anything that I wanted to use. What I should have done is to repeat the same instrumental that I did. And that repetition really took me into a whole different level. repeating the same process. Okay, I got this chop, these roads work. I just made this instrumental. It sounds really good. And now I'm gonna do a beat that sounds completely different. No, let's try this thing again. Let me try to find a source that has the same type of vibe of samples. I'm going to sample it. I'm going to use maybe the same type of drums, and I'm going to repeat that process. And once I start doing that, I start to create a sound of my own, because I start to dig into this specific type of sample and this specific type of drums and this specific type of mixing. Because you start to mix the same type of samples and the same type of drums, you start to get better at it. You start to learn tricks on how to maybe mix that kick or mix that snare a little bit better. So the repetition into that specific type of sample not only made the beat sound better, but I started to create a specific sound of my own. To me, talent is a bit irrelevant, you know. I think the most important thing that you should be focusing on is putting time into this. All throughout these years, I've always made instrumentals. I've always been beat making, always putting down samples, always putting down drums. If it wasn't for the time that I spent doing it, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So I don't believe that talent is the ultimate thing for you to make great music. I think repetition, putting down work, putting down time in your production, that's what takes you to the next level. It's just doing the same thing over and over and over again, just like a piano player, just like a guitarist. They don't just grab the guitar and then they create something new. It's all about trying and putting time and putting effort into your production. That is going to get you to the next level. All these things that I said about drums, about mixing, obviously it wasn't from one day to the next. It was about trying things over and over and over again. I believe in hard work, okay? I believe that if you put your time into things, that you will get results. I don't believe a person becomes good in beat making because they have talent. I believe that they become good because they put time and effort into beat making. All these things that I said previously about mixing, about drums, about, you know, all these things took time and took a really long time for me to get where I was to now. You know, that's it. To me, it's really not about talent. It's about work, putting in the work. If you do that, if you spend time on your craft, then you will get better no matter what. You'll know because you'll do things that are wrong. Just like I learned that those kicks don't work, I'm never going to put those kicks again in my mix. So it took me time to learn that, but because I put the time in to learn that. And I found the type of kicks that work for me. Now I don't need to be searching through a bunch of kicks and experimenting with different kicks. I know that that type of kick works, so that's it. I put time into that. Now I know. I've talked too much. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you guys have any questions or anything, just put them down in the comment section. Thank you so much to everyone that has been following the channel. Man, hit that thumbs up to help the channel grow a bit more. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.